Hey teammates, Garrison Commander Colonel Brian Logan here. Hey, I want to take just a few minutes to hopefully dispel a few rumors and talk about the move between HPCON Charlie and HPCON Bravo, in which we are effective already at HPCON Bravo. That was last Friday at midnight. And so why didn't we announce that? Why didn't it come out in a big news article or anything like that? In fact, we're still working on changing the signs out at the gate. Well, here's the reason why. Majority of our employees here in the Garrison workforce will not see any change at all. Many of the levers, and I say levers, but restrictions or workforce practices that we have put into place while we were in Charlie are just as effective and remain active for HPCON Bravo with little to no change. You will see a couple of big movements with our partners here on Garrison though, one of which is DODEA, our elementary schools here on post. If you are not aware, we have 3 elementary schools here on post. DODEA falls under Department of Defense, not necessarily Garrison. But by dropping our official level to HPCON Bravo, it allows our elementary school administrators and our faculty teammates over there to actually come back to work. They were not authorized to come back to work in a previous area. In previous HPCON Charlie. And so HPCON Bravo allows our schools to be open for face-to-face education, which is a huge burden off of our families and our workforce here on Garrison, because now we're talking about childcare, right? We're talking about making sure our youngsters are getting back into the classroom, back and having that face-to-face, safe face-to-face interaction with their teachers. Hey, what does that mean to the post in general, HPCON Bravo? So you're not going to see any changes in the gates. Our access procedures remain the same. We want to know who's coming on post and why. Our meetings remain the same. If we can eliminate face-to-face meetings, there's not a need for those. Then we do that by VTC or GVS or Microsoft Teams. Several different ways we could do that. If we do choose to meet, then it's done in a safe environment, much like I have here with my teammates that you'll see in just a minute. But we are more than 6 feet apart, social distance. They're both wearing masks right now. I've chose to take mine off as I speak, so you can hear what I say on the camera. But I'm going to put mine back on when we rotate around for their time. And you can see that there's only 3 of us in this room. So that's where we want to keep it, right? We want to make sure that we're cleaning our work areas. We want to make sure that we are conducting our personal hygiene with hand sanitizer. We're wearing our mask, and if we're sick or we think we're feeling sick, we stay home. Those are the big keys. So bottom line, you're not going to see much of a change. But we wanted to answer a couple of those frequently asked questions, dispel a few myths. And so I've invited our teammates back in. So we have Sarah and Harsheen going to come in, and they're going to talk a little bit about what does that mean for reasonable accommodations. What does that mean for requiring you to come back to work? What's expected of the government? What's expected of Garrison for meeting those standards? And hopefully we can provide a little bit of clarity. And as always, I'd encourage you, if there's any questions, reach out to your supervisors, reach out to these guys, reach out to me, and we'll make sure that we answer that to you. So I think we're going to first start off with Sarah, hopefully provide a little bit of clarity on our programs that we have here. So with that, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Colonel Logan. So as he said, I'm the labor and employment attorney here on post, and I just wanted to reach out and speak to all the supervisors out there and to remind everybody to be fair and equitable when you're instituting your return to work plans and continuing to institute those. Probably a best practice would be to reach out to the employee before you ask them to return to the workplace, either over the phone or through a letter. We have a template letter actually over at the CPAC. So if you get in touch with your labor management employee relations specialist, they'll be able to help you out and provide that to you. Let the employee know. All the options are listed in there for the employee as far as when you're expecting them back, what their duties are going to be, and if they have any concerns, what the next steps would be for them to take. But also remember that when the decision is made for people to return to the workplace, that this does become their place of duty. If employees are refusing to come back to work, then there are options available to supervisors. First and foremost, of course, you want to talk to the employee, see what their concerns are, and if their concerns have been addressed, or if they're mission essential and they really must be here, then it's up to the supervisor probably at that point to carry them in an AWOL status if the employee does not have any leave left to burn. And then, of course, get with your labor management employee relations specialist, talk to them, or reach out to me, and we'll help you come up with the plan ahead. Always keeping everybody's safety in mind, but also keeping the mission in mind and ensuring that the workplace is safe, but that we have people here so that we can accomplish our goals. Sir?
Sarah, thanks for that awesome legal advice. I really appreciate that. And hey, teammates, if you have any further questions, please reach out to Sarah and the team. That's what they're here for. And I know that they'll take care of you to answer those things, okay? Hey, now we're going to turn it over to Harsheen, Equal Opportunity. Harsheen, what kind of news you got for us?
Sir, Sarah. So, federal EEO anti-discrimination law protects employees from illegal discrimination. Those laws are sex, color, national origin, age, religion, mental or physical disability, reprisal, or genetic information. We understand, the garrison understands that there is a lot of anxiety as it pertains to return to work orders, especially among those who are deemed at high risk. Now, but there are some questions that you may ask, and we have answers for those questions. What if I am a high-risk individual, or what do I need to do if I need some assistance in my workplace? One thing you can do is you can request a reasonable accommodation. What is a reasonable accommodation? It is any change in your work environment that provides an individual with a qualified disability the enjoyments of employment. What do I mean by a qualified individual? I'm talking about an individual who has a disability, who satisfies the required skills, experience, education, and other job-related requirements of the position, that can perform the job with or without an accommodation. That job, what I mean is the essential functions of that position. There are some questions additional questions that you may have. Those questions are, if I call in sick, can my employer ask if I have COVID-19 symptoms? The answer is yes. Can my employer require a questionnaire screening or temperature checks? Yes, they can. Can my employer bar me from physically entering the workplace if I refuse to answer that questionnaire or refuse a temperature check? Yes, they can. Can my employer ask me if my family member has COVID-19 or tested positive for COVID-19? No, they cannot. The Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, which is GINA, bars them from asking you specific questions about family members, but they can ask you if you've been around someone with COVID-19. Can my employer require me to stay at home if I have COVID-19 symptoms? Yes, they can. Can my employer require me to stay at home for a certain period of time if I return back from travel? The answer is yes. But you have to go and it has to be along the lines of the CDC, local public health officials, or state officials if they recommend it. So if you're coming back from an individual area that's been deemed as a hot spot by the CDC, by the local public health officials, or state health officials, then yes, they can. Can my employer save or store my medical information as it relates to COVID-19? Yes, they can, but it must be separated from kept separate from your personnel files. If I test positive for COVID-19, can my employer disclose my name? Yes, only to those who have a need to know. One of the things that we want to make sure that you understand is that it takes everyone to combat COVID-19. You should follow the CDC guidelines. If you have return to work concerns, talk to your supervisor or up the chain of command. Supervisors, you are encouraged to have that dialogue with your employees, and also reach out to your resources, legal, EEO, CPAC, or up the chain of command. Employees, you cannot self-certify with COVID-19 or self-certify yourself as high risk. That must come from a competent medical professional. So that medical professional has to follow the CDC guidelines, especially when it pertains to you being considered high risk. You may request an RA, but like we tell everyone, the reasonable accommodation is not a one-size-fits-all. What do I mean by that? Telework may not be appropriate for everyone. Everyone may not be able to continue teleworking. It depends on what your position says. So if your position requires you to be here, then that's the supervisor's responsibility to work with you on accommodating you, such as using alternative accommodations such as masks, proper PPE, plexiglass, things like that to protect you while you're at work. Reasonable accommodation, again, is there to assist you in performing the essential functions of that position. If you have any questions, please reach out to our office, reach out to your supervisors, reach out to the team that's here. We're here to support you as you return to work. Thank you very much. Sir?
Hey, teammates, as we close this out, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you put in on a daily basis in supporting our soldiers, our families, our retirees, and our other DA civilians that work and actually live here on Fort Stewart and Hunter Army Airfield. It has not gone unnoticed. You are the heroes behind the scenes as this has started off since March. And I really appreciate all the work that you put in to make this a safe, healthy environment for us to be productive and support our mission here. Hey, last thing, I know I covered it before, as we transitioned, but if you have any questions, if there are concerns out there, the worst thing that you can do is stay quiet, okay? Talk to your supervisor, talk to your director, talk to Harsheen, talk to Miss Sarah, and, let's get those questions answered, because our most important thing is your health and your safety, especially for you and your family. So please take care. I look forward to seeing you out there again, and I'll talk to you again soon.